Welcome to Stella Root's Table, the podcast dedicated to life and everything that comes with it. Come on in and have a seat, grab your beverage of choice, and let's sit down at this table and have a chat. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good night, whatever time of day it is where you are. I greet you with a big old Texas smile and a hug from afar. You have tuned in to Stella Root's Table, the podcast dedicated to life and everything that goes along with it. I am your host, Kimberly Brown, and I am unapologetically myself because I don't know how to be anybody else. We have been gone for a little while and we are back and starting some new series, and we got a lot of good things coming up. But today I am extremely excited because I have the opportunity to have a guest on that is very near and dear to my heart. I know a lot of times when I have guests on that you guys are amused because I say everybody's near to my heart, and I have some friends and some business acquaintances, and I've even had my husband on a couple of times. But this young lady, is actually has a piece of my heart. She has a piece of me. So today I have what I call my militant midget millennial on. And that is my youngest daughter, who I am very, very proud of. Her name is Rachel Grant, and she is an awesome person. So today we're going to have discussion between mother and daughter. How about that? So why don't you introduce yourself and tell everybody a little bit about yourself, young lady?
Well, first, thank you for that introduction. that was some introduction. I will start by reminding you that I am not only your youngest child, but I am your favorite.
I don't have one.
Even though you deny it, I am your favorite. I am 28 years old. I've been working in human resources for the last 3 years. I'm actually an assistant vice president of human resources. I just finished my degree in June of 2019, and it was a long time coming. It took me 10 years to finish my bachelor's degree. And, I've always been of the mindset that it doesn't matter how long it takes you to get somewhere as long as you get there. I've worked really hard pretty much all my life. I watched my mother work hard. So, I just picked up, everything I saw my mother do, and I tried to implement it into my life as much as possible. But, I'm just your regular old girl living life free and happy every day.
All righty. So that is my youngest child. And for the record, I do not have a favorite. She claims she's my favorite, but I don't.
That is still not true. I am the favorite.
However, that is my youngest child, who she gave me the most trouble in the labor room. But she is a very bright and very intuitive young lady. I am extremely proud. I keep telling everybody, God must love me because I have some of the best children in the entire world. And they have all done pretty well for themselves. And I'm a proud, proud mom. And they are all the product of a teenage mother. So if you were a teenage or were a teenage mom, there is no reason why your children cannot succeed, and no reason why you can't succeed. Don't let nobody tell you any different, because I am living proof. My children are awesome. And we struggle, trust me. Am I right?
You are absolutely right.
So now today on our show, we are talking about the subject bleeding or feeding. Is your relationship bleeding you, or is it feeding you? And today we're going to talk about two different dynamics. We're going to talk about the dynamics of your family members and your relationships with your family, and then the dynamics of your friendships and the relationships with your friend. Now, what we're going to be talking about is how you know that you're in toxic relationships, be it family or a friendship and the things you need to do to get out of those, because we all want relationships that feed who we are and encourage us to do better and edify us and always try to push us to better and greatness. I have friends that I love and adore, that they're always pushing me to do better and they're always rooting me on. But I also have some friends that were just draining and all they did was take, take, take. And I had to move those people out of my life. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. So, Miss Rachel,
Yes.
tell me a little bit about your experience. Let's talk about first the friendships. Tell me a little bit about your experience with your friendships that were toxic versus your friendships that were feeding you.
Let me think back. Friendships that are toxic, and experiencing a toxic friendship, one in particular I can think of, it was a constant, we are friends or we aren't friends. If you have to constantly wonder, if someone truly is your friend or if they are not, it's very likely that relationship is toxic. I went through a situation with a young lady that I had known literally my entire life since I can remember. And it was a constant cycle of us not speaking to each other, then speaking to each other again, not speaking to each other, then speaking to each other again. And oftentimes she would play these mind games where she wanted you to know how she felt without telling you how she felt. So
Mm-hmm.
she often made comments or said things or did things or told other people something that wasn't necessarily true just to get a rise out of me, just to get a rise out of me. And she did that with the intent to hurt me or to harm me. And eventually, as I grew into adulthood, I want to say I was maybe 19 or 20 years old, I
Mm-hmm.
realized that the cycle actually will never end, and the relationship itself was truly toxic. Um, I think that was probably the most toxic friendship of my life.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to a point where I had a conversation with her and I said, "Hey, I don't think you realize how many mind games you play. And I don't think you realize how much it hurts people." And when I had that conversation with her, it was like a weight lifted off of my shoulders, because from that point on, I didn't feel it necessary to continue to maintain that friendship that was truly toxic for me.
Right, right. Oh, wow. Okay. And then I also recall that I remember that friendship, if I think I know which one you're talking about,
Yeah,
because of the fact that you guys had known each other for your entire lives, literally, like since y'all were babies.
right,
And but I do also recall that not only was the mind games and all of the little stuff that was going on affecting your friendship, but it was also affecting your relationship with her parents,
correct.
because she was controlling the dynamics.
The narrative, absolutely.
Yeah, she was controlling the narrative, and she was coming to you saying things like, "My mom this, and my mom can't stand that, and my mom is tired of this," and you hadn't talked to her mother, so you don't didn't know what was going on.
Right,
If I,
exactly.
you know, and so that definitely was a relationship that was toxic. It
Right,
was draining. It was bleeding. And then when you're in a toxic relationship, it's not just draining for the person that's in the relationship, in the friendship. It's draining for the person's family and good friends, because they see them going through it.
right, absolutely. Yeah. And I think that was a lot of the situation when it came to my sister, my older sister. She was frustrated with a lot of it, and it affected her in a lot of ways that it affected me, because she could see me going through it, and
Right.
she could see the pain, she could see the hurt, she could see the frustration. And she's
Hmm.
like, "Rachel, you've got to let that go. You've got to, move on from that friendship." And because
Right.
I wanted it to work, because of the kind of person that I am, try to give people the benefit of doubt, and I
Hmm.
wanted it to work so bad, I
Hmm.
didn't see that, but it was affecting my sister as well.
Hmm. Right. Now, one thing that I've noticed, that when you're in a friendship that is draining you or toxic, for like a better word, one thing that is true is there's a whole lot of drama.
Exactly. Yep.
And when there's a lot of drama, you need to take a step back and kind of reevaluate this whole situation. Are
Yes.
you okay with the drama? Like I had a friend that every time we went out somewhere, she embarrassed us. She was
Right.
always extra on everything.
Mm-hmm.
She's got to bring attention to herself, and then she ends up arguing with somebody, and then we got to take her out, and then we got to try to keep from fighting, and there's a whole lot of drama, and people, I don't want to live my life like that. I don't want to always be in a drama mode when I'm with you.
Right.
I had one young lady, I think you met her. I had one young lady that I was in building a friendship with, and a mentor, so to speak,
Mm-hmm.
and I had to go home for something. I had to go to Dallas, and she volunteered to ride with me so I wouldn't have to ride by myself. I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, cool. That's a chance for us to kind of hang out and have a good time and get to know each other a little better. And the entire way there, I have to hear you on the phone yelling and screaming with your ex boyfriend, because he done took your car while you was gone, and he's searching your car, and it's constant drama. And it was like that with her all the time. Even
Right.
when things were going well, it was constant drama.
Right.
Now, and we got to talk about why your mom did this and why your dad did that and why the ex-boyfriend do this. But you keep letting him around. And,
Right.
I'm like, look, when I'm on a 7-hour ride, I don't need a 7-hour ride full of drama.
Full of negativity. And I think what people fail to realize is that if they're dealing with someone that knows that they have an issue in their life, but
Hmm.
continue to let that thing happen, and then they dump that on you, that's also
Right.
toxic. You can't complain to me about the fact that your man doesn't treat you right, and your man does this to you, your man does this to you, but you continue to go back to it, or not necessarily go back to it, but you continue to allow it to happen to yourself and then
Right.
dump it on me. That is toxic.
That's very toxic. And then I have to keep dealing with it and dealing with it. And then I'm up in the middle of the night because I'm worried about you.
Exactly.
You know, And then another thing that in those kind of relationships is everything is about them.
Yep.
You can't have a conversation about you ever.
Yep. Hmm.
Everything is always about them. And then even when you turn around and try to have conversations about you, they flip it to them.
Yep.
Or everything that you've done, they've done and done better
Hmm.
or done different. You know what I mean? You buy a car, I had that car. I drove that, I rented it. So I
Right.
mean, I'm excited about my new car.
And a lot of times people don't realize like that those are the kind of friends that can't just be happy for you. They can't
Right.
enjoy your success with you or enjoy your happiness with you. They have to always try to match it, and that is not a good friendship.
That's not a good exactly. That's not a good friendship. And another point is they're constantly competing with you in some way, shape, or form.
Right.
Or they're putting you down, and they're doing it. A lot of times they don't. When they kind of insult you or put you down, they don't do it like obviously. It's a subtle thing,
Right.
and then you have to like, wait a minute, did you just say?
Hmm.
you know,
Hmm.
and when you and that's another sign there. One thing I realized about me is how if I'm in a relationship that is leaning to the toxic side, I've noticed that if my phone rings and I look at it and I dread answering it because it's wrong, that's a sign for
Yeah.
me.
Hmm. Hmm.
Because I don't want to talk to you because it's exhausting having a conversation.
Yes, absolutely. And what I would say, another telltale sign that you're in a toxic relationship is if, I mean, just to point back on it, if you realize that it's a constant cycle, like it's a
Mhm.
cycle of negativity, you can't just maintain positivity. That's a sign that it's a toxic relationship.
Right, right. It's hard for you to stay positive in the presence of those people.
Mhm. Yep.
It's really hard. That's a sign of a toxic relationship. That's a sign of a friendship that is bleeding you instead of feeding you.
Yeah.
If you're always tired after you talk with this person or deal with this person, it's just an exhausted situation. This
Right.
person is constantly crossing boundaries, stepping over what they call them, a habitual line crosser. you
Yes.
know, and, if they're obsessively needy, they always need you for something, but they can't give you anything.
Mm-hmm.
They always need things from you, but when you need them, they're nowhere around.
Right.
They're jealous of your other friends. You can't have any other friends but them.
Oh, if that ain't the truth, my goodness.
Those are some serious signs that this friendship is bleeding you.
And not feeding you.
There you go. That's what I'm saying. So now let's talk about toxic family members.
Mm.
Because see, you have to realize that sometimes it's easy to push a friendship away, but it's not so easy to push out a family member.
Right. And
But
to talk,
sometimes you have to.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I said, but sometimes you have to.
Right.
You just
And that's what I
you
was
have
going
to
to
do.
say. To talk about
Yeah.
a toxic family member is really hard for some people because a
Hmm.
lot of times what we often hear is, oh, well, that's still your mother, that's still your father, that's still your uncle. But at the end of the day, if that person, regardless of bloodline, if that person is not good for me, I am not obligated to keep them in my life. And I think that's where a lot of people fail at trying to keep positivity in their lives.
Hmm.
I am a big advocate of protecting your energy, right?
Right.
If I'm protecting my energy, I'm protecting it at all costs, no matter who you are to me. So
Hmm.
just because you're my uncle, just because you're my father, just because you're my aunt, does not mean that I'm required to accept the beating, accept the emotional breakdown, accept the negativity that you bring in my life because we share the same bloodline. And I think a lot of people have a hard time with that, but that's where we have to really sit down and say, you're still not good for me, regardless of who you are. I can love you, but from a distance because I need to protect my energy.
Right, exactly. Like one of the things that I noticed that like if you have somebody in your family that is bleeding your good energy and your positive energy,
Hmm.
a lot of times family get-togethers are difficult.
Yeah. Hmm.
They're not peaceful or joyful. It's like you walk in a room and you see that person and you're like, oh my God,
Hmm.
here we and then something happens and you go, here we go.
Right.
I found myself at one point with a couple of my family members. I drive by to make an appearance. I was doing the drive by. You
Right.
know,
Hmm.
I make drive by, say hello, kiss everybody. Yeah, I gotta go, and I make up something else I gotta do because the energy was so negative, and I didn't want to push that on my children. Y'all were young,
Right.
you know, and I didn't want y'all to feel that. I didn't want y'all to feel that negative energy. I didn't want y'all to feel that negativity. And every time I'm here, we got to talk about how slow I am. Yeah, everybody knows I move a little slow when I'm walking, or I don't run. Everybody know this,
Hmm.
you know, because I was a girly girl. We all know I ain't quick to do nothing when I was younger, that is. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I didn't want my children to feel that or to deal with that.
Hmm.
So I would do drive-by appearances until my grandmother sat me down and said, look here, I need you to stay a little longer because I miss you. I don't care what they do,
Right. Right.
you know? And so, and then you have those family members whose your relationship with them is codependent, meaning that they always are dragging on you because they always need you for
Hmm.
something, and then you just because that's your family member, you just I guess I got to help them out
Right.
because you know. But no, sometimes you got to walk away.
Yeah. And honestly, learn to say no. If
Right, you got
that
to learn to say
hurts
no.
you
You
at
got to learn
all,
to say no.
learn to say no. I think my biggest thing for a long time was learning to tell people no because I felt so bad about it. But then I had to realize I still have a family. I still
Right.
have a life. I still have to care and make sure that my house is taken care of. So
Hmm.
if I just don't have it, I don't have it. I'm not required
Right.
to give it to you because you don't.
Right. If you don't have it, you don't have it. And then you have to also remember, sometimes people are asking just because they want extra,
Exactly.
not because they really need it. And you got to learn how to decipher.
Right.
Or they're needing you to do something just because they don't want to do it.
Right.
And you got to learn how to decipher. And that's what I had to do because, all of my children are wonderful people, but I have one in particular. I ain't going to say which one. I have one in particular that was always needing something from me.
Mm-hmm.
And because I'm mom, I would put myself in binds to give
Right.
or to do or to take care of, and this, that, and the other. And then I started to realize, wait a minute.
Right.
I'm over here struggling, trying to help you. And y'all, because I would be on the phone with that person, and then they would let out by accident that they had went to Chuck E. Cheese, or they just went to the movies, or they did this, and I'm like, wait a minute, and you just got through asking me for such and such and such and such,
Right.
but you at Chuck E. Cheese, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then had the nerve to get an attitude when I said no.
Yeah.
So, you over there buying you pants, and I need this, but you just went to Chuck E. Cheese.
Oh, and
You
that's
know?
another thing. It's important to know you should not allow people to make you feel bad for
Right,
your decision. Okay? Don't let
right,
people make you feel bad for not helping them. Because
right.
if you're not in a position to, it
You just not.
you're just not. And truly, unfortunately, the way this is going to sound is kind of harsh, but even if you don't want to, you're not obligated to.
Not obligated.
Don't
There you
let
go.
people make you feel bad for choosing you.
Right. And see, this is something now, this is probably a little bit off topic, but this is something that I see a lot and I don't quite understand. Um, I have 3 children. Okay. My children are all adults. They have their own families, they have their own lives, they have their own bills, they got their own stuff going on. I understand that completely. As a mother, if I need something, or if I'm struggling with something, or if I'm in a little bit of a bind, I feel guilty when I have to ask my children to help me out. But now, if they tell me, no, mom, I ain't got it, or no, mom, I can't do it, I don't get an attitude. Because if you ain't got it, you ain't got it. I'm not tripping. I just got to find another way.
Right.
Or like when my birthday comes around now, everybody, if you know anything about me, my birthday and Mother's Day are usually the same day,
Or
or,
right by each other.
or within a few days of each other, because I was actually born on Mother's Day.
Mm-hmm.
Now, here's the thing. I tell my children the same thing. Mother's Day and my birthday are 2 separate events. Do not be trying to give me a gift about this Mother's Day and birthday.
Yeah, we are
Don't do it.
required to find 2 separate gifts. Trust
So
me, I
if you
know.
go, that's okay. If you gonna give me a gift, it's either a Mother's Day gift or a birthday present. Don't be lumping them together. I've been telling them that their whole life. But here's the deal: if they don't get me a doggone thing, I don't. It doesn't bother me.
Right.
Because they have their own lives. They think I get disappointed, but I really don't. I'm just glad that they think of me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm grateful that they think enough of me to call me and sing me an awful birthday song.
Right.
You know,
I mean, as awful as I can make it on purpose.
right? I'm grateful that they call me on Mother's Day and say, "Mom, I know we couldn't see you this year for Mother's Day, but happy Mother's Day and we love you."
Right.
I love this past year. My wonderful daughter, because I know it was mostly her.
Mm-hmm. The favorite, yes.
They said they were all chipping in. It was supposed to be a gift from all of them, but I know it was her. But she flew me to Dallas to spend the weekend with all of them. and wouldn't let me spend my money on nothing. See, that happens every few years. And I'm okay with that. But if she had not done that, I would not feel any different.
Right.
I love my children for even just thinking of me, because there's a lot of mothers that don't have a relationship with their children at all.
Right.
And I don't ever want that to be me. So I'm just grateful that they love me,
Right.
and that they're not trying to
And
blame me.
unfortunately, there are people out here or parents out there that feel like if their children don't get them a gift, it's an issue. And what they don't realize is that comes across as extremely materialistic. At the end
Right,
of the day, if I'm spending time with you, if I don't have the money at the time,
right,
have the ability to go pick something up at the time, whatever the case may be, and I'm still spending time with you, you can't
right.
make me feel bad for not purchasing something. You can't make me
Exactly.
feel bad for not bringing something material and putting it in your hand. That's not relevant to me.
Right, exactly, exactly. Because there are so many parents whose children don't take the time to spend any kind of time with them. They don't call,
Hmm.
they don't come by, they don't. My children call me. I get a phone call from at least one of my children daily. Daily.
Hmm.
Now, one particular, I get a call from her about once a week. I'm okay with that. Because they're busy. They have lives. And as parents, we have to understand, like I said, this is a little off topic. However, as parents, you have to understand your children have lives. They are making their own memories and building their own lives. And they have families and everything else. You did your job.
Hmm.
You raised them. You got them where they are. So now they chasing their dreams. That doesn't mean that they are obligated to be in your face 24/7.
Right.
That doesn't mean that they're obligated to give you gifts all day, every day, and pay this. And now, if they're the kind of kids that end up wanting to do that, that's a beautiful thing. I love my children because they give me great. Well, one of them
Once again, the favorite.
gives me great gifts every year. She say, "Mom, what you want for Christmas? You got this much money to spend. Mom, what you want for your birthday?" She listens. She do little stuff like, I wanted this water bottle that looked like a dumbbell. And I'll just send her a picture of it because I said, "Girl, I'm going to get me one of these. Look at this." 2 days later, it's on my door step. You know, because
Let me go ahead
she,
and plug Amazon Prime. 2 days.
yeah. Because she's just that kind of child. She's just that kind of young lady. And she does those kind of things for me because she loves me and she cares. I'm not obligated to do that stuff.
Honestly, let me step in and say, I also do those kind of things for you because you don't expect them.
Hmm.
I do those kind of things for you because you deserve them, because of how much you've been there for me in my life, the entirety of my 28 years, and you don't expect anything in return. So it makes me want to do those kind of things for you. I don't have to worry about if every single time a holiday or birthday comes up, you're going to text me and say, "What are you getting me?"
Right.
Because you don't expect those things, I want to do them for you. And that's
Oh,
the difference between you and other family members that honestly have sent me messages and asked, "What are you going to buy me?" That makes me not want to buy you anything. That
oh, see, I won't do that. No. Like, for instance, I told my child I wanted to get a new computer. And she said, I was literally asking because I'm trying to figure out what kind to get. And then she said, "Well, look, I tell you what, if you haven't gotten that computer by such and such date, you know, I'll get you one." I'm like, "No, that's too much money. You got stuff to do." But see, that's the kind of parent I am. I'm like, no, you can't be spending that, you know,
right.
because she has her own life. And they got their own. My son-in-law is a awesome photographer.
Hmm.
He's trying to build his own business. I know how hard that is.
Right.
So they have their own bills. They have their own businesses they're trying to be, build. I don't want them putting themselves in strain trying to see about me, trying to buy me a computer. I can go to the pawn shop if I have to.
Right.
You know, you see what I'm saying? So, and you're right. I don't expect those things. And it's not because I'm trying to be super mom. I'm going to tell you guys why I don't expect that stuff from my daughter or from either one of my daughters or from my son. My son has 3 children. So he has a whole household he's got to see about. My oldest daughter has one, but she's a teacher. Her life is busy. Teachers don't make a massive amount of money. And she has a whole household she got to worry about because my granddaughter is high maintenance.
Oh, high maintenance.
Okay. She has a whole house she has to take care of. My youngest baby here, Rachel, doesn't have any children, but they are building their financial portfolio and building businesses because they want to work for themselves. Okay. They did not ask to be born. My job as a parent, give birth, raise them, feed them, try to teach them right from wrong, teach them how to chase their dreams, and free them out into the world and hope I did a good job. That's my job. So because I raised them and I did everything that I'm supposed to do, I don't expect anything in return because they're my children.
Right.
They didn't ask for me to give birth to them. And that's just how I feel about it.
Alrighty, my darlings, you have been listening to part 1 of Feeding or Bleeding, a conversation about toxic relationships and family members and how to remove that toxicness from your life and learn to bring in nothing but positiveness. I am so glad that you guys took time out of your busy schedules and busy lives to stop by and give us a listen. I know that we've been gone for a while, but we are back in full force and we have a lot of good things coming for you very soon. Part 2 will be coming soon. I love having conversations with my daughter. She is very opinionated, but I love it. And so I thank you very much. Now, if you want to follow us, all you have to do is look up Stella Roof's Table, and that's on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and you'll see us pop right up. Also, you can send an email to me if you have any questions or you have any topic suggestions to stellaroofstable@gmail.com. I look forward to hearing from you guys. Again, I am so grateful for being back and so grateful that you took the time to listen. Now, make sure that you live life, laugh often, eat some good food while you're doing it. As always, I love you. God bless you. And you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. Until next time.